firstly, how is the reopening process going? Is it going smoothly? Are there some major hiccups? What sort of feedback are you getting?
Look, firstly, there's such a massive sense of optimism out there in Sydney and New South Wales today that after, as you just said, 107 days of lockdown, we're finally opening up. People are visiting cafes, getting their haircuts. I've got mine booked in for tomorrow morning. I'm quite excited about that. So, of course, as you would imagine, some businesses and workers are a little bit nervous at the moment about how they might go in terms of explaining vaccine requirements to people and getting through the 70 and 80% requirements before December 1. But the overwhelming feeling is a sense of optimism and a sense of pride that we all did this together. I mean, it's unbelievable that, considering where we started, that now we have 75% double vax rates, more than 90% first vax rate. I mean, we are on track to beating world records when it comes to our vaccinations. So that sense of optimism and pride is being felt in businesses who are just raring to go. And we're pretty confident here at the Committee for Sydney that we will have a strong recovery and bounce back, as we did the last time. But of course, the focus has to shift now for government from supporting businesses through lockdowns to really spurring demand, spurring business activity, getting people out to the cafes, restaurants, back to events, back to the stadiums. And so today's announcement was a good start.
How concerned are you about the spike in cases we're being told to expect there in New South Wales? And are you confident Sydney can handle that there won't be any going backwards in terms of having to go into lockdowns? I mean, we're being told that if that happens, it'll be much more targeted and there's a plan in terms of that for financial support. But obviously, everyone would like to avoid that outcome.
Indeed. Look, it is absolutely the last thing we would want to see happen, to go back into lockdown. We understand at the committee that we need to go through the opening in a staged way and in a safe way. Of course, we don't want to see our hospital network being overwhelmed. But we would argue that with our vaccination rates where they are, we are so well positioned for this reopening, and we would argue that we do not need to go back to lockdowns, even targeted lockdowns. Of course, we should be guided by all the advice on that, but we stand the best chance, if not in the world, of opening and staying open in terms of how the community has responded. So yes, I hear government talking about preparing businesses for targeted lockdowns. I would argue we are ready. If not, we'll be ready very, very soon to do away with lockdowns for good.
How are you going to revitalise the CBD of Sydney? I know obviously so many workers still working from home, some saying that they'll never return. Some analysts have been saying COVID is the end of the CBD as we know it. How are you going to get the CBD back in business?
Well, it's going to be a challenge, of course. Initially, some people might feel a bit nervous about potentially eventually catching a train with someone who's unvaccinated and things like that. So we need to take the community through we think, quite low risks of ending up being very, very sick if you are vaccinated. So education is the first thing. Clear communication about that is the first thing. But above that, we need to do everything we can to spur business activity. Maybe there might be opportunity for more alfresco dining, for more outdoor dining, for more vouchers to get people back into the city. All of those things need to be looked at. But we think the most important thing right now is to be optimistic and positive with people to get back into the city. Of course, some things have probably changed for good. Flexible work arrangements, I think quite a few people will be happy that that is now a part of our life much more than it was before the pandemic. Perhaps that's one of the good effects of the pandemic. Yes, that might cause some challenges for CBDs in the short term, but long term it might actually offer some opportunities. It might actually mean that there will be more people coming through the city on a day-to-day basis. Rather than having people 5 days a week, there will be more opportunities to have more people in offices because there will be flexible arrangements. Some people will be in, say, on Mondays and Tuesdays, others might be in on the other days. So there might be more of an opportunity for businesses to bring in a greater number of people throughout the week. And of course, that gives us more opportunities around public infrastructure, open spaces, all of those things that we need to look at. So going forward, we think the changed working dynamics actually make the case for building more infrastructure, building more reliable metro network, turn up and go services, because we're going to be having far more mobility. The 9 to 5 days are probably gone. The Monday to Friday days are gone. So therefore, flexibility and turn up and go services such as the metro become even more important. So we hope to see in this new administration, the Perrottet government, a recommitment to those very, very important nation-building pieces of infrastructure, such as the metro, and also fast rail connecting our regions to Sydney and also Sydney to the regions.
It's going to be a journey, no doubt about that. Ehssan, I appreciate you joining us. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me, Ash.